Hi, Sarah. Michelle here. I wanted to get back with you on your diversity story, and overall, very well reported. I felt like really interesting topic. So kudos for that. I do agree with you. Um, it's just really a shame he wouldn't let you film him being signed. Um, I don't know how you approach this or anything, but I wondered if the other woman would at least do some signing. I mean, it just seems like it's such a visual thing. Um, the other thing I feel like is the story is. I just wondered if you try to interview any deaf students. To me, that would be a really interesting perspective. And maybe if that's not possible, at least talking to him about how he's gotten to know them, um, you know, uh, the kind of relationship they have, those sorts of things. Because what's left is kind of a story that's mainly about his commentary about education and and it's interesting that, he's had to sit in these classes. But let's then focus on that more. If that's going to be the big part of the story, talk to professors about what it's like to have someone signing in their class all the time. Other students, I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of kind of some missed opportunities here. Um, and I think part of that sounds like it was because they weren't getting back to you, which is always kind of a scary thing. Um, So to me, it was kind of like a story that sort of knew what it wanted to do, but then kind of didn't. It also was kind of like two stories because you talk all about him and then you talk about Duncan. And I think one of the things maybe you could have done was when she's talking about being an interpreter, um, maybe that could have moved up higher before we're talking about like why he became interested in it, which to me is not as interesting. Um, you know, More about why they're helping students and the gratification they get from that, and less on him and what he's learning in the classroom. Um, to me, having said all that, you did a really good job making it readable. Um, I just think it could have been a really more interesting story, maybe with a different approach or maybe with a little bit more reporting. Um, I have to say the video, it was a little bit odd to not see him signing. And again, that's not really your fault. But just kind of too bad. Let's look at him. It was very well shot, and you understand the idea of B-roll. Um, it was a little bit repetitive of what's in the story. I don't know how it kind of stood alone. Um, uh, One angle would have been to focus in the story on the importance of interpreters and talk to Duncan more about that and talk to him more about, the relationship and how it helps the students specifically. Um, do they find themselves kind of being called upon to like tutor or interact with the faculty or whatever? And then have the video focus on him talking about what he's learned in the classroom. The fact that he took 480 hours worth of coursework, yada yada. That might be, and what he thinks about education from his experience, rather than making that the focus of the story. Um, having that be in the video and have the story take a different focus, if that makes sense. Okay, your lead, like I said, everything's, you know, well written. I think maybe just saying he's completed 480 hours of coursework, which is equal to 4 majors, might be a little bit more understandable. I didn't think, I didn't understand why this quote is here, what he's talking about. When you say here he's making sure deaf students are getting an opportunity to learn, I don't understand at all, honestly, what that has to do with that. And again, I feel like he's talking a lot about himself, but not about the kids, which, you know, is a little bit odd. So anyway, I'll leave this revision so you can see Spanish is capitalized. You know, maybe, oh yeah, where he also interprets for university events. I felt like that didn't really work there. It kind of distracts you from the lead. So I thought I'd move that elsewhere. You say how he didn't want to be an interpreter, but you never really say why he changed his mind, which I think is kind of missing. Her story is very interesting. So you can compare my changes and let me know if you have any questions. Let's take a quick peek at the video. I think I kind of mentioned, I think it's well shot. I think.
My name is Thomas Beyer. I'm the staff interpreter at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I started my journey basically taking some sign language classes and never imagined that I'd be an interpreter. In fact, I pretty much was told that it would be hard and I didn't want to do anything hard with my life. This is my 10th year of being at the university, and I know that I've walked with at least 4 students through their majors, so approximately 120 credit hours a year. So I've gone to.
That's the other thing. I mean, I don't know how many deaf students there are. That would have been nice to add to this. How many interpreters there are, those sorts of things. Yeah, I think the video's fine. It's shot well. It's edited well. It just doesn't really, like I said, it's not really your fault. You did the best that you could, but if we could have had him in the classroom signing, that would have been awesome. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.